Karl-Anthony Towns recently made some shocking comments about the Knicks defense and potentially when those issues could be fixed. We're also going to take a look at a young prospect who is going off right now in the G League, JACOB TOPPIN. We're going to break down all of these reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on. So anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. Cat confirms the truth about the Knicks' defensive issues. Whether we're talking about perimeter defense, transition defense, or interior defense, at every level, it's a problem right now for the Knicks. Consistency with this team just doesn't exist, and other teams are taking advantage of what the Knicks allow. Karl-Anthony Towns recently made some shocking comments about the Knicks and their defense, and potentially when these issues could get fixed. Let's take a look at exactly what Towns had to say. Shout out to New York basketball for giving us the following updates. According to Cat, the Heat with LeBron James took a whole year for them before they figured it out and put up a banner. Other teams, 75% of the season. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you how long before things are going to be fully clicking. I can tell you that every day we work on being the best version of ourselves. Now, the reason these comments are shocking is because while we all know that chemistry takes time, I don't know that anyone wants to hear that it could potentially take a year or longer before the Knicks figure it out defensively. Now, listen, I understand. Towns is not saying that this Knicks team is going to follow that exact same trajectory that LeBron James and that Miami Heat team followed. And I understand that. He's saying that potentially that could happen. But it could also happen that the Knicks figure it out in a few months. Maybe when we get fully healthy and we get Mitchell Robinson back and this team is fully clicking, maybe at that point, we won't be talking about the Knicks having to make a trade or it's going to take a year or longer than a year for the Knicks to figure it out. So I'm not saying he said anything bad here. However, the reason it's shocking is because nobody, at least I wasn't thinking actively about that Miami Heat team and what they did or didn't do. But the fact that Towns is thinking about it and potentially this is something roaming around in his mind, it makes me think, why are we even considering that? I don't care that Miami didn't win in their first year and then the next year they put up a banner. I don't want them to be where we are and where we have to hold ourselves in terms of success or failure. I want the Knicks to set their own bar. And the way they do that is to make sure they're winning as many games as possible. But you have to make adjustments to do that. And the only way the Knicks can win is if they play defense consistently. But we're not doing that. We play defense sometimes from quarter to quarter, sometimes from a half to the other half, like we saw against Atlanta. The first half, the Knicks were pretty good on defense. And then that second half, it's like we forgot what defense was and we were allowing the Hawks to do whatever they wanted to do. We have to make sure that if we're being aggressive on offense, that we stay aggressive on defense. Or even better than that, if offensively our shots are not going in, then let's play even more aggressive defense, because in that situation, your defense is going to help you get out of that situation. If you're not playing defense and you're only relying on your offense, which, by the way, the Knicks have done a lot of times during this season, sometimes you'll win, a lot of times you'll lose. And the Knicks, during those situations, have lost more games than they have won. You cannot only rely on your offense. It is not going to get it done, especially against the good teams in the league. So I appreciate Karl-Anthony Towns talking about the chemistry, talking about the fact that each and every day they are still working on being a better version of themselves. So that tells me they even understand. They're not fully completed yet. They know they have a lot of work to do. I just hope that work doesn't put them all the way to next year and we're talking about, okay, now we're next year now, and this is when the Knicks are going to get it done. I understand chemistry will take time, but that doesn't mean I want to wait until next year and look to next year to win a chip. I still think this Knicks team, as presently constructed, especially once we get fully healthy, has enough talent to go toe-to-toe with anybody and win an NBA championship. It all depends on how we're coached, the adjustments that we make, and how we're playing on both sides of the ball. If we're only playing offense and not that much defense, you can figure how much that's going to take a team. And honestly, you know, it's not going to take you far. But moving forward to another topic I want to talk about. Yes, we're going back to the G League. Before you guys kill me in the comments, Tom Thibodeau won't utilize these guys. Why are we talking about the G League? Even if Tom Thibodeau calls this player up, he won't play him maybe even 5 to 6 minutes. Maybe that will come in garbage time. Listen, I understand all of that, but I cannot ignore a talent and what they're doing consistently in any league. We talked about Chuma Okeke a few weeks ago, and I'm very happy we did that because he's continuing to go off for the G League. But if you're looking at a couple of numbers, you're looking at consistent play. And if you're going back to last year and you're including this year, there's another player that has been consistently good over there. And he's a young player as well, too. We're talking about JACOB TOPPIN. Shout out to Steph Bondi for giving us the following information and what happened in the G League game a couple of days ago. As we see here, Dadier, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 15 from the field. He definitely has to clean that up and get a little bit better, but still, very good effort from the rookie. Huck Porty, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 of 2 from the field. That was the game. Unfortunately, he got injured, so that's why he didn't do too much. And then we see Tyler Kolek, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 of 20 from the field. Now, this video is not about Tyler Kolek. It is about JACOB TOPPIN, but I have to give my guy Kolek a little bit of praise there. As you can see, he basically almost got you a triple-double. This kid is ready to play in the NBA. The only thing holding him back is his defense. If his defense gets even a little bit better, even this much better, he'll be NBA ready right now. Some teams might make the argument he's NBA ready as we speak, and the only thing he needs is reps at the NBA level. If you believe that, you might have to talk to the coaching staff because as of right now, he's probably going to play most of the time for the rest of the year in the G League. But Kolek, he's doing his thing as well too. But of course, like we talked about, this video, at least this part of the video, is about JACOB TOPPIN and what he was doing. This guy continues to go off. Look at last year. He was going off then, and he's continuing to go off now. And the reason I said he's young and he's a prospect for the Knicks right now still is because I think a lot of people forget. He's 24 years old, not 26, not 28, not near his 30s. He's 24 years old, and he's 6'8". So he has the size, the athleticism, and clearly he can score that ball and do a lot of other things on the floor. Look at what he did the other game. JACOB TOPPIN dominating with a double-double. 36 points for Westchester. And he did it while shooting 70% from the field. That is just a crazy stat line and something you want to see out of a young player like this. Again, I'm not saying if he gets called up to the main team that he plays 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but you're telling me he won't have any type of impact at the NBA level doing what he's clearly doing at the G League level? I think those stats can translate. Given his athleticism, his height, his age, he will buy into what Tom Thibodeau is asking him to do. Oh, and by the way, he's a pretty good defender. Probably a better defender than his brother who we drafted in Obi Toppin. Let's remember that. The Knicks oftentimes do not get enough credit for the moves they have made, the things they have done. A lot of times it's about, oh, they didn't do this. They didn't re-sign this player. Oh, they traded away that player. What about the fact that they recognized that Obi's brother had this much talent in him, this level of play, that they snatched him up, they signed him, and now he's still part of the team. And potentially, he could be part of the bench in the future. And I think games like this prove who the Knicks bench is going to be in the upcoming years. JACOB TOPPIN, given this type of play, what he's been doing, the level of play we've been seeing, I think it's only fair to say he deserves minutes on the main roster, on the main team, and hopefully in the future, he is part of the Knicks bench. Because if he's giving you this level of play, how can you ignore him? If he's a walking double-double with the G League, he could probably give you at least 9 points and 9 rebounds in the NBA level. And if that's the case, that's close to a double-double anyways. And if you give him enough time, he'll get you that double-double. That's what I'm talking about here. We have to recognize we have talent everywhere, whether we draft them or they're in our G League. The talent is there, and all we have to do is continue to develop them and utilize them when we need them. Pay attention to what's happening in the G League because we have a couple of stars there. We have a couple of secret weapons over there that can really help us if they're playing for us at the NBA level. And in my opinion, JACOB TOPPIN is one of those players. And by the way, this is not the first time I'm saying this. I've been said this. Go check the record. Go check the video history. I've been saying this about JACOB TOPPIN for a very long time now, and I'm continuing to say it about him. This kid is a secret weapon for New York, and the only thing they need to do to activate him is make the call and utilize him. Thibs, it's on you. But what about you guys? What do you think about Karl-Anthony Towns, and what do you have to say about the Knicks, their defense, their chemistry, and potentially when they're going to figure it all out? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.